All
right, we are live in the room, and we got a few people in here. So I'm gonna start this video off by saying, as soon as I get this damn thing up here, today's topic should be a surprise to no one. Before we start the podcast, is this whole fucking Ben bullshit? Fucking Apple can't make a right fucking phone. Pardon my French.
Why isn't this showing up on YouTube?
It should be. Oh, because it's behind. Give me
Oh.
a second. It'll catch up. 12.4 million views Lou has so far on that video. F you, Lou. F you.
You're live?
I hope you monetize that friggin' thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn you, Lou. Hey, you guys. We gotta see every bad news coverage of it. You know, like when things they shouldn't be covering. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, they get on there and they're like, "Oh, in the news today, Apple released a phone."
I'm pretty sure CNN picked it up.
What's that?
I'm pretty sure CNN picked it up.
Well, that's even worse. It was on Fox News too.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm sure they blamed the bend on Obama.
Well, it would be his fault.
Oh, vey. Larry, why do you got two windows? Oh, it closed out. Okay. Of course it would be his fault. That's what Fox News does. So, anyway. This is going to be a fun show. This is going to be a fun show. All right. There's Kix07 blowing JTech Apple again. I wish they'd let JTech Apple in. I appreciate the content he puts out. Oh. You know what?
Chinese kid.
Yeah. The Chinese kid. The American, Canadian, Asian. You know what? I let him in the room, and he said like 3 words. He ate, and he put stupid things on his picture. Yeah, he's a great contributor to the podcast. Dumbass. All right, so we've got 16 people in the room already. How is everybody? How much revenue does 12 million views generate on YouTube? You know what, sir? I could tell you that, but I'm not allowed to because I make absolute dick on YouTube. So
it's probably at least $100. We'll put it that way.
It's at least 100, but
Probably.
not a million.
He can probably buy groceries this month.
Yeah, the next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month. Let's see here. How many fucking zeros is that? 1, 2. That's 120. That's 1,200. I'm doing Howard math here. That's 120. See that to carry the 4 into the 5. $645 million he made on that video. Let's see here. Well, first off, just to give you an idea, you got to divide it by 1,000 because you get paid by 1,000, and so that puts you at like 12,000. Now, YouTube doesn't monetize every single view that you get. They probably monetize like 70% of it, 60% of it. So you're lopping that by 50%. So you're assuming that you're down to 6,000. You're gonna probably get around, I don't know, somebody like Lou probably makes like $15 per 1,000 views or something like that. So you put 2 and 2 together, he's basically, you could buy a house, a real small house in Detroit.
He only made $50?
He only made $50.
Good enough for a real small house in Detroit.
Exactly. Could buy Eminem's house in Detroit. And tonight is a drinking show. Forgot to tell you guys.
Oh, why wasn't I informed?
Because I just decided it right now.
All right.
All right. Yeah, well, trust me, Steven, we're gonna talk about the 8.0.1 disaster. That was pretty funny too. And we'll talk a little bit of BlackBerry, Dingleberry, and
Can't wait to get my
That'll
hands
be
on
fun.
I heard it's $2,000 per million views.
What?
If that was right, we'd all be poor if we like.
I don't think there's a set rate.
It's not. The CPM fluctuates. Like,
It really fluctuates on who the advertiser is. And,
yeah. Well, you know what? Not only that, if you're a part of a group, you might get a flat rate.
Well, he's also signed to full screen.
Yeah. So he probably has some sort of deal. Just assuming.
I'm sure he doesn't have the
Just
same deal I got.
assuming
I'm
that
sure he probably pays 10% or something like that.
Yeah. Just assume that it's $10 per 1,000 views, and that's probably low for someone like him. For someone like us, that'd be freaking huge to get $10 per 1,000 views. And then you would take a percentage off of that. So, needless to say, Lou made a lot of money the past day or two. A lot more money than most of you, not you guys, the people in the room, have seen. No, me too. I don't have a job.
It's more money than my wife lets me see.
That's my wife. That's we touch.
Don't feel bad. I have the job. My wife doesn't barely give me any money.
I like to touch. Yeah.
She doles it out like an allowance.
Oh, I just take it. I'm horrible that way. So, all right, Andy. Well, I want to thank you for coming in. And,
yeah, no problem.
so we'll start off the podcast and then just introduce you. Anything else besides Bite Now and your Twitter that you want us to push for you?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good deal.
Is there a way, just in the built-in OS 10 settings, that you can have your microphone sound come through your speakers or your headphones? Because I'm not seeing it. I thought there was.
I'm trying to think. Well, there's a couple ways to do it. Go up to your system preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And then go into sound. And do you have your sound effects, your output and your input in for your earbuds already?
Right.
And you have those done already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now in here on the Google Hangout window that you're looking at with us in it.
Oh, it's in here.
Yeah, go up to the little settings wheel up top to the left of the red phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your settings, which camera you want to use, which I believe this is the second one's microphone. And
Right.
The next one after that, I believe, is your headphones you can put in to be able to hear yourself. And that should get you set. Hopefully. Does that work, Billy?
I don't know what happened.
Is it working?
Now I can't hear you. I wish I could do that.
Me?
Yeah, screw it.
No?
No, I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, okay.
I'll just leave one out.
All right. Not a problem. Okay, so let me go ahead and get.
Oh, I want a lower third.
On the left side,
Hangout
actually
toolbox.
the Hangout
Yeah.
toolbox. You may have to.
Every time I use Hangouts, it's different.
Well,
I use it every week, and I think it's different every time we use it.
yeah, if it's not on the left bar, do the three dots and then click Add Apps, and then it should be in there under Hangout Toolbox. Which recorder was I using to record our show?
The 8-track.
8-track.
The reel-to-reel.
You're real helpful. What was it called? Like, where the hell is it? I thought I put it in my drop in my.
What?
What's wrong?
No, I had a saved one here that was not right.
Oh, here it is, Reaper. That's what I want. This thing is freaking badass. Seriously, an update? No, we're not doing that right now. No one got time for that.
Your phone? You should do it.
My phone? Yeah, my phone. Thanks. I'll get right on that.
It was so funny because I saw that there was an update, and then I'm like, I didn't have time to do it. And then by the time I had time, I was checking Twitter again, and everybody's like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Oh man, I'm glad I didn't have time earlier."
Exactly.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those guys. If I see that update that's somewhere, especially on an iPhone message or anything that you got the little red circle, I gotta get rid of it like right away.
Yeah, badges annoy the crap out of me.
Oh.
I
Yeah, it drives me
If
up.
I see somebody's phone and they got all there's a lot of YouTubers that'll show a phone and it has like 15,000 emails, and I'm like, really? Just turn off the badges before you do your video, buddy.
I'm asked most often as a defense attorney
All right.
is whether I
Just making sure the audio's
How was
coming.
that?
Want to play any videos or something like that. All right. All right. Looks like I'm set on the recording end here. So let's start recording that, and I'll just cut it and clip it when we're done. So that. All right, everybody in the room. Let's see what everybody's chit-chatting over here about.
Sweet 26 people now.
A boot. Hey, we're getting up there. Optimus Prime. Really? Is that really?
You have Optimus Prime on your shelf?
Yeah, that's the original Optimus Prime, the original diecast.
Not that plastic one Danny tried using?
Yeah, exactly. Dumbass. No, I'm just kidding. I hate Justin. I'm glad he's not here. Well, yes. Cal DC 49.
He may be on next week.
Yeah. Why? Fire?
Well, then maybe the week after.
Yeah. He's coming right up.
He's coming right up.
You know what? He'll be on when Eric the actor's on.
Oh, it's a
Too soon?
sad day for Eric.
He's dead.
He
I wish
did.
I wish I had some Pepsi to pour out.
I want some Pepsi. What's your wife saying? Really? Yeah, I'm posting pictures of beer on Twitter, woman. You
No,
got-
that was because I put that she gives me money like an allowance.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, are you talking about Twitter?
Yeah. All right. OT for Tech. Couldn't come down and hang with us for at least a few hours, you rat bastard. That's all right.
I got one of those important jobs.
People that we were supposed to hang out with barely hung out with us either, so it doesn't really matter. They didn't like us. So, bite them.
I barely like us.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to hang out with us neither. All right, let's get to my little intro here.
I really want to hang out with you and you're at my house.
What's that? What'd you say?
I said I barely wanted to hang out with you and you're at my house.
Yeah, I could tell.
I'm just not very friendly is what it comes down to.
That's the reason why I left early.
That's why I have my wife.
I didn't like you anymore.
Well, at least we're both on the same page.
Yeah, F you. Now, where the hell is the damn podcast music? All right, bitches, let's get this started.
Let's do it.
The OG Podcast. Pimpin' still ain't easy, but giving our opinion is. Now here are your hosts, Larry Dickerson and Michael.
God damn it.
That worked. That worked. They got the important name out first.
Fuck it.
Like,
Try that again.
The OG Podcast. Pimpin' still ain't easy, but giving our opinion is. Now here are your hosts, Larry Dickerson and Michael Panetta.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the shit show. Welcome to the show. I am your co-host, Michael Panetta, and I am just in a wonderful mood
Mike's drunk.
tonight. I'm in a great mood. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
And to start the show, today's topic, who's bending what? 12.4 million views, Mr. Unbox Therapy, on one video. Screw you, man. Share the money. That's all I got to say about that. Because if I say any more, I'll get in trouble.
Why would he share the money?
I don't know. Because I gave him the idea. Shh, don't tell nobody. Nobody listens to the show anyway, so it's okay. So, no. In all seriousness.
30 people.
30 people. 31.
31.
No.
So, no, in all seriousness, that's what everybody's talking about. The fact that the iPhone 6 Plus can bend because it's freaking monstrous. And it's extremely thin, so...
And it's made out of a soft metal.
Malleable. That's the new word.
Malleable.
Malleable.
It's like ephemeral. When
Yeah.
everybody was talking about Snapchat.
Exactly.
Ephemeral messaging. Malleable metals.
That's okay. I thought Lou was going to break his fingers off when I first saw the video.
I was kind of hoping that the glass was going to just shatter.
Well, I was a little bit... You know what? After seeing Marquez's video about the glass, if that was the same style of glass, it's it's pretty durable in itself, but it was it was quite interesting to see metal bend. Oh, wait a minute. So anyway, before I get too far into it, my co-host, Mr. Larry. Larry, how you doing, buddy?
Great. I'm not as in a crappy mood as Mike. I thought I was in a crappy mood until I started talking to Mike. Now I'm like Santa Claus compared to Mike.
Exactly. See, we Larry and I didn't get along on our weekend. We fought the whole time. It was quite uncomfortable. So never going down there again.
Then my job, my mission is complete.
And of course, because of the topic that we have tonight, we have a very special guest. I actually have known Andy for a while, and oddly enough, we'll get into it. I think we kind of knew each other before YouTube, unbeknownst to the two of us, in our inner circle of Philadelphia Flyers fans and the blogs. You should see those blogs. You think YouTubers are bad? Maybe you get a hold of hockey fans. They're freaking weirdos. Let me tell you about that. So, Andy, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm okay. Thank you for having me.
No, not a problem at all. I'm glad you're here. If you're looking for Andy, guys, before we even get started, he has a tech website that he writes for, and he does some pretty killer articles, and has some other guys that work with him as well at ByteNow, BYTENOW.com, and I'll put all the information in the show notes and whatnot, and you can check it out. And if you want to follow him on Twitter, he is at Orange and Black.
2Ks.
2Ks. Sorry, completely forgot about that. And you can follow him on there. He doesn't complain at all about anything. He's a
Never.
very happy YouTuber. And
Must be a Philadelphia thing.
Twitter. What's that?
Must be a Philly thing.
Well, you know what? When you go as long as we have without winning... Oh, wait, you have.
I have a Lions hat on, so you know what? Whatever.
Now, listen, you've got the Red Wings and you've got the Lions.
Tigers are always pretty good.
What's that?
Tigers are pretty good. Baseball.
Yeah, I guess so.
Pistons are decent, or at least they were. They're not that great anymore, but
Were.
the Lions have always been crap. But at least when fans go to Ford Field, they don't have to worry about getting killed or put down in that prison that you guys got.
That was in the old stadium. I don't even think they have that in the new
I
stadium.
don't think they should.
They might have something, but
Something, not an actual judicial system, not a judge sitting down there anymore.
I just don't care enough about the Eagles to even bother trying to figure it out because they suck.
I don't watch hockey, so
Shut up.
3-0. That's a really bad record.
Yeah, shut up.
And then they're playing some 49ers team on Sunday, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, baby. Go Niners.
49ers have been sucking it up anyway, so.
Well, there's only one problem. I don't get Eagles feeds up here anymore. So.
Really? What do you get?
Steelers.
Oh.
So we get every kind of baseball game. Everybody's home feed for
Yeah,
baseball.
that's in the market where you have like Baltimore, Washington,
Yeah, it's insane.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I had a friend who went to York College, and it was the same way.
Yeah, if I don't want to watch the Phillies, I've got the Orioles. If I don't want to watch the Orioles, I got the Nationals. You watch Pittsburgh, and of course you've got the CW, you got Chicago, and then the Yankees are always on. You could always watch them, or the Red Sox. But it's fun watching the Orioles. I've been watching them all year. They've been tearing it up. So that's actually nice to see. So I'm getting off topic here,
Just a
guys.
little bit.
We're getting a little bit of sports there. Andy and I will talk a little bit about getting started and whatnot, but I want to jump into this topic straight away because there is almost you either think this is completely stupid or you kind of understand it and maybe just don't care enough about it. But when Apple went thinner and thinner and thinner, I guess it was bound to happen. You go lighter, thinner, cheaper, 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 and then you end up having something like we have. There were, quote unquote, a few reports of a bent iPhone 6 Plus. Probably not something that really should have made a whole lot of news. I don't think it was enough, in my opinion, that would garner any kind of attention.
I didn't hear about it at all until Lou.
Right, neither did I. And, the whole thing blows up when Lou gets on camera and takes those big meaty paws and starts flexing the screen from the back side, which I think is completely unnatural because that's not the way you put your phone in your pocket. You're not supposed to put your phone in your... I'm just kidding. So
Maybe you have a broken femur and it's on the back of the phone.
But either way, Lou has tons of subscribers, gets tons of views. So when Lou speaks, people listen. I guess that's really the way to put it. And he brought this topic up, and it absolutely blew up. He's got over 12 million views on that video, and then he decided to whore himself out and do some other phones. No, other people were asking for other phones.
Right.
So he just gave them what they wanted. And, let's be honest, if he even started off thinking anything like this would happen, he's more of a genius than, many other people that thought anything would have come of it regardless. But, he put a few other phones to the test. I don't know if they're going to get the views that this particular video got, but it's definitely garnering a whole lot of attention. And the topic on Twitter was blowing up. People just saying how dumb it was and what's the point. And the mainstream media is trying to explain it, which we all know when the mainstream
It's
media
hilarious.
tries to explain something, they have it's absolutely hilarious. They have no idea what they're doing. So Andy, I know Andy's very opinionated. We're all opinionated, but I figure Andy was perfect for this topic because he's just as angry as we are sometimes. So I wanted to bring him on and chit chat about this. So I guess we'll start with Andy, and then Larry will talk to you. Andy, what are your feelings on this as a tech guy who's very serious about what he writes and takes a lot of time and research and doesn't necessarily when you write, I don't think you waste words when it comes to doing something. You're very articulate when you do that. So Twitter's a different story. You just bitch like a sailor, but whatever. What are your immediate thoughts on this? I know your thoughts, but what are now that you have a forum that we can speak in, what are your immediate thoughts on this whole topic?
I think it's like anything else, and it's just being blown tremendously out of proportion. I mean, if you think about it, every phone dating back to the iPhone 4 has had some kind of stupid scandal thing. The iPhone 4 was Antennagate, and that was just kind of a joke. It's the same thing. Like you look at Lou's video and you see that he's going to the absolute extremes trying to make his point.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the same thing with the Antennagate. People would literally squeeze the life out of their phones to try and get the signal bars to drop.
Yeah, that was the same thing. You'd see like their hands just go white.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, the signal died." It's like, yeah.
Right. I had an iPhone 4 that was off the line, and like in normal usage, my signal wasn't distressed, didn't go down. But you see, it was literally the exact same thing. Someone made a video, it blew up big time. Mainstream media picked it up, and it was this whole big problem, and it caused Apple to make a press conference and release the free bumper program thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The
But
bumper program.
I mean, I don't see what Apple can or will do about this. If probably nothing. I don't even
I
think
don't think they're going to do anything. I don't think at all. I really don't think there's any point in them saying anything about it, because this the sheer number of phones that are coming back because of this, I don't really think garners any kind of response.
No, it's like Marquez said. They sold 10 million over the weekend, and even if 100 of them bent, that's
Exactly.
nothing. That's not enough to warrant a recall or anything like that.
No, definitely not.
I think if anything, you'll see maybe they change something about the internal design once the first batch of inventory runs out. I think they did it with.
How so? Like, what would they do?
I don't know. You know, it's really hard because anything that you add to the inside of the phone is going to make it heavier. They can't like reinforce the frame; that'll make it heavier.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything they can do except change it in next year's design.
Well, you know what? I would like to see, Lou Bennett probably at the weakest point you could possibly pick.
Exactly, because that's
that.
where the buttons go. There's already a cutout there. The other side is the SIM card tray. There's already a cutout there. So obviously that part of the design has already been like.
Well, you can see from his video that Mike's playing. I'm behind, or I'm looking at the YouTube feed. Excuse me. He's pushing in the center.
Yeah.
Where it bends at the weakest point.
Right.
Like Andrew just said, it's bending at the button area where there's obviously less aluminum on that side. So,
right.
And again, like I said, it's not real scientific because he's actually putting a pinpoint pressure point in the center, which is not, scientifically you would have something equal to a thigh, and then you would apply pressure that way. He was just bending it to see if it would bend, really.
Exactly.
Right.
It wasn't really testing what people were complaining about. It was, okay, how can I destroy this phone?
Right. And the other idea is with the quote unquote claims that started all this. One of them was, I had the phone in my front pocket for 18 hours. Bullshit.
What?
What?
No.
You take your phone out. What are you? Somebody from The Verge testing the phone, reviewing it? What? I don't get it.
18 hours is a long time.
I don't think my phone stays in my pocket for 18 minutes. I mean, especially if you buy an iPhone 5, the Plus, it's a consumption device. What? I don't understand how you could have been. How can you even sit for 18 hours? You're not even supposed to do that.
No, that's
blood clots everywhere in his legs.
Exactly. Unless he sits in a wheelchair, that's ooh.
Nice job, Kanye.
Somebody prove to me that guy's sitting in a wheelchair.
The lady's holding up a prosthetic leg.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Lou really thought anything other than, let me see if I can bend this.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna play the Lou side of this since Lou's not here. So that's the point I'm gonna take, so we can have a back and forth discussion. So, and I don't know Lou. I'm just gonna say this is my point of view from it, being on the positive side. So, if Lou's sitting around and he's looking at his Twitter feed or he's looking at something and he sees that iPhone Plus, all of a sudden he's seeing a few are bending and people are starting to talk about it. And Lou, being a larger YouTuber and has obviously more means than I have and more means than you have to just get an iPhone 5 or Plus and bend it and break it and not have to really, worry about it, he thinks, well, what the heck? I can do a video and just show, let's see how hard it can bend. And then he sits down and he makes the video and puts it up. And then from there, I mean, that's really, he had that germ of an idea. He did the video. From there, it took a life of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the mainstream media wants to be, stupid and report that, and not say, hey, look at this guy actually forced the bend. I've seen some people say that, but a lot of people just ran with the bend gate. You know what I mean? And oh, look at the iPhone bends, and all you see is the picture of it bent, or you see him just holding it. You don't see it's a still shot. You don't see, or it's a little GIF that just shows him bending it, so you don't see what he put in to actually bend it. So I mean, from there on, he had this idea to do this video and just say, hey, I'm going to show that this thing does or doesn't bend. I mean, he probably didn't know what he was going to find. And then from there on, it's, once a news organization picks it up, everybody thinks they have to catch up with every other news organization. So to me, I don't think it's that big of a deal negativity-wise. It wasn't like Lou went out and bought a bunch of phones.
30?
And just started smashing them in every possible way you could to say, hey, look, this iPhone can't stand up to a sledgehammer. I buy a brand new car, I don't drive it into a building and go, look at this piece of crap. This thing can't handle driving. It can't get hit by a train without getting destroyed. There's technology.
I drove a tank when I was in the Army, and that could run over things. Why can't this car?
I mean, these things that we hold in our pockets are extremely delicate. Whether we want them to be or not, they are.
Yeah.
Like Andrew said, from the 4 on up, if you can make something break, you can make something not work properly. It doesn't matter, it just does. Me, I try to be very careful with my stuff. I love my technology. I don't have the money to smash it with a hammer and then say, hey, look at this. This thing can't hold up to this. To me, those are ridiculous. I think what Lou did was he just said, let's see what I would have liked to see Lou do. And I think he just put the video out quickly because it was, like I said, it was really quick, the turnaround time. But I would have liked to see him use some type of pressure gauge.
Yeah,
or like I said, use something that's almost like a bowling ball type to where you get the contour of a thigh and then press it on there and tell me how much force it takes.
Yeah.
And then that's more of a scientific, but I don't think that's what he was trying to do. I think he sort of jokingly said, hey, I'm doing this for science because he was sort of getting some crap. But to me, it was just he did it, and then after that, it's not his responsibility on what the media says about it and who picks it up and whatever. But that's just my thoughts.
I don't think he could have imagined it getting picked up or just blowing up as much as it did. I didn't think it was, but. I mean, he knows he has an audience that's that big. Like, I don't know, it feels kind of irresponsible to me to put something like that out.
Right. Well, you know what? And that's the risk that you take when you do things like that. I mean,
yeah. I woke up to 4 messages this morning who saw that exact video from people who don't keep in touch with technology like I do, from people who don't know what a YouTube subscription is. And, like, they see this video and they think that any phone that they're going to buy is going to be automatically flawed.
Right. What did they say to you specifically? Is it anything just beyond, hey, did you see this? Or
yeah, it was, hey, did you see the video? Did your phone do this? Do you think I should still get this phone? Do you think this is actually going to happen? And then you try to explain it to them and they're like, oh, well, that's not what the video showed. And you reply with, well, what do you think the video is going to show? Pulling on it.
Yeah. He's taking a piece of very thin, product and bending it with all his might.
It's aluminum. It's not reinforced copper.
No, and I don't know if he even thought it would do what it did. Like Larry said, I don't know if he even realized that. I had said to Larry, Larry mentioned the idea about taking like a, something that could measure the pounds per square inch or torque or something like that to be able to do that. But, I don't think he realized it was even going to go that far to even have to worry about that. And I think that was the biggest thing. And then, of course, it took a mind of its own. We got somebody reporting that Lou was an engineer from San Francisco who reported on this. I saw on a video. I'm like, where did you pull that shit from? And then I saw him on Bloomberg Tech or whatever, and this woman, I think she cared more about hearing herself because she kept asking the same questions over and over.
It never happens on news channels.
No, and the funny thing was, she says, did the iPhone 6 bend? And Lou said, and this I thought was pretty funny. Lou says, you know what? That video is currently in production. We don't have the results on that, or something along those lines. And then not even 30 seconds later, she goes, well, did the iPhone 6 bend in your results? Like, do you have that? And he goes, well, no, I got the phone right here. We didn't start recording yet. And I'm like, wait, you just said you were in production. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder what production is for Lou. And I was like, I got to get him on the show. I got to ask him what his mindset is. But I just thought it was funny when she asked the same question. It's just like, are you listening to what he's saying to you? He's giving you the information, and you're just like, look at me, I'm on TV, and just going through it. And then they make the joke about BlackBerry saying, our phone don't bend, our phone doesn't bend. And then
Don't worry about it. Nobody's putting it in their pocket because nobody's going to buy it, BlackBerry.
exactly.
Nice.
Well, she had one, and then hands it over to the other jackwagon in the room, and he goes, "Oh, I'll bend it." And he goes, literally, this is exactly what he does. He goes, "Nope, doesn't bend. All right, that doesn't bend." I'm like, dude, really? The only person that's allowed to bend phones now is Lou because he has he can measure it by Lou scale. You know, like there's Moe's scale of hardness.
Thumbs.
No, it's like the Lou thumb scale. So it's the only one that can do that as far as that goes. I mean, so Andy, you had mentioned earlier about any kind of response from Apple, and as far as what had happened in the past and what we experienced with Apple, we kind of had like the Steve Jobs-esque reply of you're holding it wrong, and I'm trying to think of some of the things that his witty responses would be for some things. I think Tim Cook is much different. We've obviously seen him in the past kind of, oh yeah, oops, sorry, we messed up, and just kind of like own up to it. And I actually saw an interview, I think oddly enough it was Bloomberg again, and they were asking him about products, and he mentioned something about products not coming to fruition, and they've dumped them and decided not to continue with them. And the guy said, "Oh, that must be. Could that be like the Apple TV, like the TV that you guys could have been working on?" And he kind of like, I guess, kind of like didn't answer it, and he goes, no, we got stuff, and just kind of kept going. And the guy asked it again, and here all of a sudden comes apparently during the call is the PR chick that's like, okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, you're not gonna ask that question again, and you're not gonna put him in that type of gotcha journalism, and he was like, actually, I was just trying to think of something else to say to steer it away from that again, and it's so funny because it's like, is that something that you think Steve Jobs would have had? Or had, it doesn't seem like he really had a filter in front of him when it came to talking. So
he would have just blown it off and said, go F yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So it just made me laugh. It was like the CEO of the company can't say, it's none of your damn business.
Mm-hmm.
Whether we come out with something or not. Every company has things that they work on that they don't come out with. It's really none of your damn business whether we tell you what it is or not. Now or 10 years down the road, after something is, legally dead when it comes to the chance of it coming out or any kind of, situation like that. But, as far as Apple replying to this, I like you said, is they could go kind of dance into it a little bit, but I just don't think there's enough, actual returns for them to even think about responding, even to Lou, for as much press as he's gotten with this, to say anything about it. So I mean, I don't think they will, and I don't know what anybody else in the room thinks or anybody commenting.
I think if like you were talking about Steve Jobs, I think somebody would have emailed him, and then he would have, there probably would have been 10,000 emails, but he would have responded to one of them. And that email would have got, somebody would have released it or whatever, and it was him like with some, well, hey, yeah, if you want to bend that thing in half like that, knock yourself out, blah, 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 whatever. It would have been, but like you said, Tim Cook doesn't, I don't think that's the way he would work it.
Well, no, because at the end of the day, it's not his creation. Ultimately, he's just the guy that stepped in is now the guy running things. So I think it's a very different atmosphere, and I think people have to understand that things are different now. And I've been saying that since the day Steve died, and the day that it seemed like he really wasn't doing anything with the company, you know, with too much power over that, because people are saying, oh, Apple's going downhill. It's like, it's not that Apple's going downhill, is the same person isn't running it anymore. So you got to expect different things. And is this something that we're going to see wholesale changes with the next iPhone? So Andy, do you think in the back of their minds, maybe not necessarily replying to this specific issue, but are we going to see something for the next phone, or is it just like, whatever, it is what it is, you're getting what we're going to do anyway?
Definitely, there will probably be, they'll address something with the internal design. They'll strengthen the molding around those specific points, and they'll add, a very minuscule amount of weight to the phone, and that'll be it.
Right.
I mean, the S phones are usually like very slightly heavier than the non-S versions because they always have slightly more improved parts than the last phone.
Right. And of course, everybody talking about the protruding camera and all that in the battery, which I don't think we've had enough time to even determine whether or not either of those items are a great problem.
I haven't been able to kill my battery in a day yet, so
On your 6 or your 6 Plus?
6 Plus.
Oh, on your 6 Plus. No, I heard I have seen the battery life on that is absolutely incredible. On the 6, on the other hand, I've managed to kill that in 4 hours. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say I've seen mixed emotions. Some have said it's good, and some have said it's no better than the 5S.
Honestly, I don't think it's any better than the 5S. I could probably get the typical five, maybe 5.5 hours, but you and I have a conversation a while ago about Apple changing that whole algorithm with usage compared to standby. So
yeah, it's very annoying.
Because we went from getting like 4.5 hours of actual usage, going, yeah, that was pretty decent. If you could use it for 4.5 hours total during the day, which is, if you're working and you're doing things and you're not constantly on it, that could last you a good 12 to 15 hours for the day. Then all of a sudden we're going up to 5.5 to 6 hours of usage, and because you had said to me, you're like, oh yeah, that's only because they changed the algorithm.
Yeah, prior to that, it was just simply screen on time.
Right.
How much you're using the phone.
Well,
now it's pretty much the thing that fires up the radios.
Yeah, I think it was the background stuff. I think it was that when when you're getting a message or it's checking your email, I think that's considered usage, which is going to uses very minimal battery life, but at the same time counts 10, 15 seconds to go through that process of checking.
Well, I have my iMessage account hooked up to my laptop, and on days where I'm messaging a lot on my laptop and not using my phone, the phone battery takes a hit. So, because it's still sending and receiving those messages, and if there's more pictures or videos, then it has to pull those down. And if you're on cellular instead of Wi-Fi, it uses the cellular radio to pull that down.
Right.
So.
Well, you know what? This is actually a great segue with all of that. Speaking of cell connections and other things.
Hold on, I'm updating my phone.
Yeah. We were all having issues. I don't know, Andy, if you're experiencing any weird things with iOS 8, with the quote-unquote finished product. I experienced a lot and have been experiencing lots of weird things. Not necessarily something that I can't function or use the phone. It's just, like, what the hell, or, something along that. So apparently Apple had released 8.0.1 today, and apparently it killed a lot of cell signals, and the lock or the Touch ID lock on there. So, did you update your phone and kill anything?
No, I was in class, and when I got out, I had like 3 people telling me, "Don't do it, don't do it." So I just held off. And then I tried, and by the time I actually tried, they already pulled it. I wasn't gonna do it. I just wanted to see if it was still there.
Yeah. Now, I think that is worse for Apple than the whole bending of the phone
Absolutely.
situation. I mean, that makes them look stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and the
When
worst
they
part
have-
didn't they say that it? I thought I read, maybe just on my Twitter feed, that it didn't affect the older phones. It was only the 6s.
It was the 6 and the 6 Plus, 5S and the 5 were fine.
So the engineers in there, he didn't upgrade yet. He was
It was using old hardware.
5S. Oh, this should be good.
I saw a letter from Tim Cook about how everybody did such a great job, and you all deserve almost like a deserve a break type of deal, but our front office or frontline people will continue to help out. I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if all the lead engineers are on vacation right now when
They already took their vacation.
when they were working on this. So I was like,
You see in the room, StubbleTech says he's been on the phone with Apple. He said, non-related top, my 6 won't downgrade to 8.0. Call Apple. They want to upgrade me to a 64 gig model in the Apple Store tomorrow and gave me a $100 Apple Store credit.
whoa,
Damn. I should have upgraded.
wow. Well,
That's pretty big.
what
That
do I
is-
get?
That's $200, right? I mean, he had a 16 if they're going to 64.
You think they'd upgrade me to a 6 Plus?
Just keep calling and yelling. Tell him, you know what? I'm so pissed. I'm going to bend this piece of crap.
I'm gonna make this iPhone 6 bend, and I'm gonna put it up on Lou's channel. You know who Lou is.
You know,
Yeah.
I know who Lou is.
You don't really want the 6 Plus right now anyway.
No, I don't.
It is so buggy. It's not even funny.
Well, I mean, I see on the 6 that there's a lot of, my Gmail doesn't look quite right. YouTube doesn't, everything's just sort of blown up a little bit. It's not as bad as
Yeah.
the iPad when it first came out with that ×2, but it's enough to where I'm like, ugh.
The scaling is really bad, but I mean, just iOS 8 in general is still pretty darn buggy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm not a little bit. I'm extremely disappointed that they've obviously have had the idea of the bigger screen and that you can't make a simple adjustment as text, to fit and look decent on the phones.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like all the first-party apps look fine, but as soon as you get into something that hasn't been updated yet, you use an app that has the old iOS keyboard,
Yeah,
and it looks horrendous.
right.
It looks like something you would see on a $99 Android phone.
There's a game that I like to play. It's a pool game that's completely unplayable right now because
Pocket Pool?
What's that?
Pocket Pool?
No. That's your favorite game.
I'm playing
This
it right
one-
now.
This one's called, 8-ball pool. 8-ball. Yeah. But it starts off with the screen filled and then it shoots down, almost like you're using a camera app.
Oh,
And
really?
you see everything flicker on both sides, and you can't do anything. It's just like, what the hell? It's like halfway in between an update and not. So
Look at this other comment from Preston in here. I told Apple how bad my pre-order experience was, and they gave me free Beats by Dre a couple of days ago. All we tried to do, we complained, and we just wanted to buy bigger phones, and they wouldn't let us do.
yeah, they wouldn't let us. They wouldn't let us buy the bigger phone.
They got you a view though on your video.
What's that?
The guy who sold the phones. Remember, he commented on your vlog.
My Apple
That's
rep
pretty weird.
commented on my phone or on my video. I was like, "Hey, give me some free shit."
He was like, "Hey, I don't get any."
It was so funny because I had like 2 or 3 guys as I was talking to him about what I attempt to do on YouTube, and I pointed out Marco, and the guy's like, "Oh, that's Marco Hanna from Phone Dog." I'm like, okay, he knows Marco. I was like, go over and say something to him. Oh, I'm not allowed. I gotta work. But that was probably the coolest Apple store, if it came to guys who actually paid attention to what was going on. Because I've gone in the stores where I'm like, hey, have you seen this on YouTube? Oh, I don't watch YouTube. I'm like, oh well, did you read anything on it? I don't read anything. You work at the Apple Store, like, why would you not be up to date on everything that could possibly come into that store? As far as that goes. But I don't know. It's
The King of Prussia store is really bad.
Oh my God, I know a guy that actually works there, so I actually can get decent service when I go in there. But yeah, that store is the worst.
Didn't you say a couple of months ago that you had your 5S screen was clicking?
Yes.
I had that same problem with my 5 last year, and I brought it into them, and I mean it was very clear that the adhesive was coming undone.
Right.
And I had an appointment, and the store wasn't that busy, and the guy comes out, he looks at it, takes it to the back. I don't know what he did with it, but he comes back out and he's like, well, my phone doesn't do this, so I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I just looked at him like, what does that have to do with anything that I just asked you to do for me?
Right.
It must be like every other place. It depends on what idiot you get, because my wife's 5C was doing the same thing last year, and by the time we went to that Nashville store, and by the time we got there, and it was like a couple days later after she noticed it, and we went in and it quit doing it.
It happens all the time.
We're like, look, we swear this was happening. We drove an hour and a half to get here, and then they were doing it, and she's just like, you know what, I believe you. Let me just go get you another one. I think it just depends on the person, too. I think they sort of have carte blanche to just be like, you know what, let's just get this person a new one and get them out of here.
When I took mine in, it was up here. I went to the new store that I've never gone to before, and I was actually able to get it to do it. And I said, it almost seems like the digitizer is separating from the glass screen. I was like, and that's where I'm getting the clicking noise. And he actually started off by telling me they were going to replace the screen. And I was like, oh, I said, okay. I was like, if that's what it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. There's nothing I can do about it.
I would almost prefer that.
But I said, yeah, because I actually was happy with the performance of the phone. The next one I got, I was not so much. I'm going to be taking this one back in too, because I can hairline scratches on the screen, so I'm going to find another reason to take it in, and I'm going to jam something in the Thunderbolt and get it to stop charging or something. It's not charging. But he started the process saying you're going to replace the screen, and I was like, okay, well, how long is that going to take? And he's like, oh, no, it shouldn't take long at all. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I have Apple Care. I was like, that doesn't really account for anything. Like, put out like $50 or something, or, whatever it is to get a replacement. And he's like, he just kind of like blew it off, and he started going in, and he goes, huh, it says just to replace the phone. And that was it. He replaced the phone, and then
You went in there and said, you know who I am?
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. I'd have a better chance of seeing God than someone recognizing me. So, yeah, that was, every experience I've had, Andy, I've gone into the Bryn Mawr store that has been a good experience. I don't even go to the King of Prussia one anymore. I think
yeah, no, there do I. Stopped. They used to be really good for me, but then something happened. I don't know. Ever since they moved to a new location. But now I usually go to Cherry Hill because it's kind of closer for me.
Actually, I was Cherry Hill was where I would always go because of Carlos. I would go over there and hang out with him, and we'd go into that store. But I bought most of my phones at the Cherry Hill store, and I've always had a good experience with them as well. They fixed my old iMac when I took the.
They fixed one of my laptops too.
What's that?
They fixed one of my laptops too.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. They did a real good job. So, it's just that one store, and I've always, always had a good experience. I would, say 9 out of 10 stores that I've tried out. So what did he do with your phone? Did you just not replace it, or did you just go to somebody else?
No, that one I actually ended up. They replaced that at Cherry Hill because he wouldn't do it there, and I just left because I got annoyed.
Oh, okay.
And I went to Cherry Hill like 4 or 5 days later, and they replaced it without even looking at it.
Yeah, it all depends. I like the people that would say, go in like at the middle of the month or whatever when they have a ton of phones, Because if you go towards the end of the month when they start getting their allotment for the month, I don't know how true that is. If they start getting down low, they stop giving out. They make it look, they're a little more stringent about replacing things, but I think that's a load of crack. So I don't think they do that. I just think it matters. Depends on who you get. And
Yeah, it's all on the person.
yeah, I just typically you get that person that isn't too much of an a-hole. They usually just kind of take care of you.
It's always the people who really think that they're more important to the store than they actually are who won't actually give you another phone.
I've seen that too. They're like, "Oh, you don't seem to understand, sir. You've held it wrong for so long."
Yeah, they go out of their way to give you like a technical background on why what's happening is happening, and you're like, no, you're wrong. Just.
But that's usually when I bust out the "Do you know who I am?" Actually, I usually bust out the, "Well, I take these apart and I put them back together and I review these and I go through this and I'm in the industry and I've asked a lot of questions and I've done all this and I've gone through this and I've analyzed it." And then usually it's like, he's one of these freaking guys. And then I usually get what I need taken care of.
Yeah, that's so much wasted breath, though. I would rather them just give it to me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But there's times like I know if I'm going in there, they might question, "Oh, did you try this? Did you try this? Did you try this?"
You wear your tech examine shirt and hat.
Yeah, exactly. If I can give anyone advice when you go into the Apple store and they start asking you if you've tried this, this, and this first to be able to fix the problem, and you want to get your phone replaced, always say, yeah, I tried that.
Yeah, I tried it all.
I tried it all. I tried everything. I restored. I restored from a backup. I set it up as a new phone. I bricked it. I jailbroke it and put it back to see if that would replace it, to rewrite the software. All sorts of stuff. And never go in with a beta iOS. That they
they can't stand that.
Freak the hell out when you do that. Even though you tell them, that you're testing out an app that's, in beta, and you go to iOS 8 to do that, and they, or iOS 7, freak the hell out. So they have no idea what to do. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting experience when it comes to dealing with those guys at the store. But it's interesting to see other people what they're doing and how Apple's just kind of doing what they need to do to keep people happy. So I don't know. Maybe we should try something. Maybe we should do something to our phones and be like, "I wanted the 6 Plus," after everything gets updated, of course.
I think I finally have a phone that has no manufacturing errors, so I'm not even gonna go outside anymore. I'm just gonna become a hermit.
Just get the OtterBox Defender case for it. Jeez.
Yeah, it just ruins the entire purchase.
Oh no! I'm not saying that it doesn't ruin the entire purchase of everything, but you can throw the damn thing off a roof and know that you're not going to break it.
Yeah, I mean this thing is already like huge. I don't even want to put a case on it.
Right. Well, then don't bitch and moan when you break it then.
Yeah, I mean that'll be my fault.
Exactly. So get a case for it, damn it.
I want one of those the leather cases, but I don't feel like justifying $50 for one.
Oh yeah, I actually thought those are pretty nice. I was pleasantly surprised. I was even more surprised by the silicone cases. Because I know Larry and I were like, silicone, but...
Are they decent?
Oh my god. Larry's the one that pointed it out to me first. He was like, "Check this out." I mean, it was that Danny had one.
Yep.
And I was really surprised. I actually picked up the green one. Larry and I went down to one of the other stores. He was looking for a Plus, and I picked this one up. And I've been happy with it. I was doing a lot of stuff today with taking the door off and getting everything ready and sanding and everything. And I had this out of my hand a few times to check. And my hands are pretty grubby, and there's nothing on this at all. Is it
actually all silicone, or is it just a silicone coating?
Good question.
Is there any hard plastic in there?
You know what? It might be something in between the back and the sides, because it seems it seems to be stiffer, more rigid around the sides here. That just might be more plastic on the sides with maybe a coating, but it's definitely flimsy enough on the back. But they have this felt on the inside, which I think stiffens it up.
Yeah, the leather one has that too.
Yeah, and I actually think that's pretty nice, you know. And it's easy to get, you know, to take the phone in and out of its of the case and everything. It doesn't feel like it's scratching or, you know,
Or bending.
bending. Speaking of bending, I know Larry had a case from Spigen. He wasn't too happy about it. Just seemed like it was just way
What was
too.
it? I can't remember which kind of. What? Hold on.
It was the Spigen.
Slim? No.
Yeah, I thought it was a slim. Oh, come on, Larry.
Well, I'm sorry. You know what? I don't even have it out here because I may have.
Piss.
But it was the Air or Featherlight? I don't know, whatever. The super thin snap on the back one, and it didn't fit right. Every time I put it on, it felt like the buttons were just going to snap off. So I just quit using it. It's probably in the closet or something.
You know, I updated Lou's video from when we played it earlier. It got 1 million views since we talked about it.
Wow.
Well, quit your complaining. You're the one driving views to it, obviously.
Clearly, I'm the one that get all those views. Yeah, I should stop talking about it.
Now he can buy a month of groceries and a pizza.
Exactly. Maybe some more. So, you know, I think we can all come to the conclusion that I think Apple's going to be just fine with their Bengate and even with their software update, which was very embarrassing. So, I think we're going to see some more backlash from other companies about the software and the Ben thing, and I'm sure that's not over yet as far as that goes. So it'll be real interesting to see what's up with that. But on a lesser note, I don't even know if anybody even really cares, but I think this might be as ugly as the Microsoft Kin phone that they attempted to release and killed in a matter of weeks. BlackBerry introduced their new phone, and it looks ugly as hell. It literally looks like a square. Did you guys see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I want one.
Really?
Dead serious.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. I have a soft spot for BlackBerry, and I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Even the
Can I kick him out?
for those in the room, it's called, is it the Passport, I think?
It's the Passport, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interested in it. I mean, it's interesting, and the from what I can tell, I think the PPI is ridiculous. Like the screen's supposed to be really, really good, but from what I saw, it's got like 3 rows of keys.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't use it one-handed. Like
Right.
it's impossible because the keyboard's so low.
Yeah, here, as a matter of fact, keep talking, Larry. They got
If it was a lot cheaper, I would probably check it out. But
so
it's
the main
just
camera. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, the other thing was like the screen right there, 4.5 inches diagonal. It's 4.5 square, so
That's a wide ass phone.
from you can't like if you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I guess it's not a consumption device. I mean, it's not media. It's more for the business.
Right. It's almost an inch wider than the iPhone 6
Plus.
Oh, is that the Plus? No, it's
That's what I read. Somebody said it was wider than the 6 Plus.
That's what I thought I heard
Oh,
too.
it might be wider than the 6 Plus, but they have it next to the 6.
Oh, I wasn't looking at that diagram.
Yeah, it's got a 13 megapixel front camera. I'm sorry,
Main.
rear, and a 2 megapixel front camera. 453 pixels per square inch.
Yeah, it's jam packed.
Yeah,
it's got specs to compete, but
it's just ugly as sin.
I don't know. I think it looks awesome.
Ugly. I don't even know what to make of
I
it.
want to see somebody take that, throw it at like a wall, and see if they can get it stuck into some drywall or something.
Lou?
Drywall gate.
Whoosh, look at that! It ruined my wall.
Ninja, be a ninja star.
There you go.
I'm gonna tell you, I think that BlackBerry passport is a bit of a stumble. I don't know.
Famous last words. BlackBerry's on the way back now.
Oh, look at a bit of a stumble, buff. So I don't.
It has a lot of unique qualities that make it feel like it's like their first device in a while that's not trying to play catch up.
True, true. I mean, they certainly have and have always have had the business aspect of it, and I really honestly don't. I don't know. Like people that I know people that are really heavily into emails and contacting and that having that tactile keyboard just won't go away from BlackBerry. Just won't do it unless their company just flat out drives them and makes them get, the iPhone 5C, which is what I see a lot of.
Mm-hmm. Their John Chen, their CEO, said on stage today that even he doesn't believe that this is going to be a phone that goes mainstream and gets your average consumer. And he's like, these two phones, meaning the one that they just released today and the BlackBerry Classic that they've been talking about for a while,
Yeah.
Those two phones are going to be, built and sold to BlackBerry elitists, basically.
Right.
Like, I don't even think they're trying to compete anymore.
Not like they did a few years ago when they said, what did they say? Apple was sort of standing still, or they made some.
Right. When they released the Z10 and the Q10 and the Z3, those were like a full-out assault on iPhones that just failed miserably.
Yeah.
They tried to go after the complete wrong market with those phones.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to try and attack those phones, you have to have the ecosystem to back it up, and they don't.
And that's what they're doing now. They have the Amazon App Store.
Right. Well, they finally upgraded the framework to support. I think it's Android 4.3, maybe 4.4. So you can install those 4.3 and 4.4 apps instead of the old gingerbread, horrible-looking things.
Wow. That's interesting.
So, I mean, that's a lot better than gingerbread and using apps that are 3 years old.
Right. Well, I think people just got used to it at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, and you know what? If they scale their business model to that, I think any company can be happy with what they're making, if they want to do that. I mean, people always say that Apple computers are too expensive and their stuff is too expensive, but yet, record numbers every year compared to what they've had the previous year and what their business model is. And, people want to throw out the idea that, a certain company, whether it be Nokia or Samsung or Sony or whoever, has some sort of lead in some sort of market as the number one something. And I think statistics can be bent any way that you want them to be to make you look, good anyway. But I was always under the impression that Apple was like, okay, fine, but we got our market share of what we want, and that's what we're going to go with. And I think at this point, if
they sold 10 million phones over the weekend. Yeah. Samsung has upped the release date for the Note 4 in China, trying to beat before the iPhone 6 Plus gets there.
I just don't know how that matters.
Doesn't.
No, so, if you're buying an iPhone, you're not. The Note 4 coming out early is not going to be like, oh, well, it's got a big screen. It's the same thing.
You know what I want to know? Of that 10 million phones sold, how many were upgrades? And how many were people that came in and said, I'm buying that phone.
What does it matter? I saw that. What did they say? It cost $200 to make the 6.
I'm not surprised.
Surprised.
The business model of tech companies is to blow out that 60% profit margin. Anything below it, in my opinion, would be considered a failure for those guys.
60% I'd be fine with. I paid $850, well, $799 for my phone off contract.
Well, I'm sure $200 is the base to make an iPhone
Yeah, how much do you think that extra 32 gigs of RAM cost them, or whatever it was to?
Well, and you got a bigger body, a bigger
Dollars.
battery.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that again?
That's the exact same. That's the only difference between mine. I'm talking about just the 6.
Right.
So you go from the 616 version to the 128. I guarantee, like Andrew just said, it's a couple bucks.
Yeah, flash storage is so cheap
Yeah,
now.
for flash storage, but I think it adds up. I'm not saying it's terrible
Fanboy.
whole amount. Oh, no, I think it's ridiculous that they do that. Hell, I worked in a business where we were shit gigging happy if we got 20% profitability on what we were making and selling our products, and 25%. The fact that these jackholes are making 60 to 70% profit margin. You sit there and say, oh, I love Apple or I love Samsung. At the end of the day, they're just trying to milk you for every penny that you've got. They could really give two shits about you personally. They're putting a product out there that you want to spend your money on. They're not doing it for you to make your life easier. They're doing it because they know that we're suckers for it and that we think we have to have it.
You got another part of that. I mean, the phone costs $200 to build, and then they sell it for $650 up to $1,000.
Yeah.
And a lot of that money goes back to paying off all the research and development that they've done over the last how many years.
Certainly. It's
And Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon for doing those awesome commercials.
Yeah, they're terrible.
And you too.
One of the things that just bothers me the most is when people who kind of try and cheerlead for Android say, Apple phones are overpriced. Okay, so I get the argument that they overprice the shit out of flash storage. But, I mean, if you look at a baseline 16 gig iPhone, it's $650.
Right.
If you look at every other top tier Android phone right now, it's $600 to $750.
I think that Note 4 is like $750.
Yeah. So that argument just really bothers me because people, I don't know.
Right. No, you're absolutely right because they sit there and talk about that, and a lot of people do come back with, yeah, you don't realize, you want to go out and buy a Note 4 or a Samsung Galaxy S5 or whatever it is they're up to, and they're the same thing. They're $600-700 for those phones, and and
the argument that they bring is that Apple uses older hardware, but they really don't. They build all their hardware in house, and
they make it work together.
Well,
right, it's the experience. It's not necessarily
right
the age of the hardware. It's the experience that counts at the end.
Yeah, I always explain that to people when they tell me that it's too expensive, and I'm like, that's a cop out, because you're getting a product that is made by the same people who make the software, by the same people who implement the hardware with the software, and they know what works with it. They'll sit there and go, oh, the iPhone still only has a dual core. What kind of crap is that? I'm like, it doesn't need it, because everything's optimized to
almost every other phone on the market right now.
What's that?
That it almost outperforms every other phone on the market right now.
Exactly. And, to sit there, then the same thing with building a computer. Yeah, okay, you can build your computer, you can do all that, and you can put all the money you want into it and still say that you could get a computer that's half the price of that. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have more problems with it because those parts don't always play nice together. You may get the best of the best and say that it's, you saved $200 over memory or saved, $800 or whatever total price. It's just, I've built computers. They don't play nice if you don't use the right components. And
right.
Who knows what those components are until you have them together? You don't.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
Right. Some people are just so simple-minded and stupid that it blows my mind.
Right. And like you said, it's the experience of it. You sit there and have Apple, oh, they have their ecosystem is closed. They don't let anybody in, and it's dumb. They should open it up. And I'm like, no, they shouldn't, because you're going to have the issues that you have, and you're not even going to realize it. You're not even going to realize the issues until you actually experience it, on that type of level. I think Apple is opening up a little bit more, but yeah. I still think they need to make sure that they lock it down. But it makes it look a little silly when they put out an iOS that clearly isn't done and isn't ready for prime time.
Right. I mean, you just take a look at keyboards, for example, right now. They're all kind of a mess.
Yeah, yeah, they're
That entire third-party keyboard system right now is just a clunky, broken mess.
yeah. I use Swipe, and I get annoyed because it changes the words when I didn't ask it to change the words.
Right.
It's gone from a suggestion to this is what we're going to change it to, whether you like it or not, because we want you to tap that you don't want to use the word that you meant to type, and we're going to put the word that we thought we meant you to type. And I'm like, well, you're predicting the wrong thing, so
I went back to the Apple keyboard.
off you go. I turned mine off too. I couldn't take it anymore. It was driving me batty, driving me absolutely batty. And it's so funny that Andy started talking about this. Larry and I had mentioned the idea, and it's little tiny things. It's nothing major. When I use this Android device, I'll go into the and look at comments in a video. You can see that when you go to they have the most popular comments and the comments that are the newest comments, and you can search and you can list them by that. Well, on the iPhone, you go in, you can do the same thing, so I can look at just the newest comments and see what I got going on and what I can answer. Android doesn't have that in their YouTube app.
Yeah, it blows my mind that that's a thing.
And I'm like, and that little tiny thing has me on the phone going, okay, well, I can't do what I need to do, so this is a waste, And the people may say to me, well, then use the Studio app. I really don't like the Studio app. I still think it's garbage. I don't like it. It's I barely use it because it still doesn't do what I was hoping it would do at the end of the day. It's very convoluted, and it's just everywhere. Like, if you get any kind of amount of comments, it's still unusable when you're trying to go through it. I just want
a lot of Google apps.
Comment. So, go ahead. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's a lot of Google apps on the iPhone or on iOS that work better than their Android counterparts.
Yeah, I just don't get it.
Really strange. Like Gmail, for instance, is a lot better on iOS, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is, I guess, at this point, YouTube on both platforms is kind of even, but like you said, that does have that extra commenting. You can reply to comments and list the comments in a different way.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know. It seems like even like Google puts more attention and polish to their first-party apps on iOS than they do in Android.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why that is. I would think that just putting the comment system in there to be able to search by it would be an easy fix, or something that would definitely be in there to begin with, and I don't know why it's not. I don't get it. And that's, somebody would say, who cares? But, there's other things, like you said. Sometimes you'll use a Google application on the iPhone, and you're like, this experience is so much better. It's just sometimes, like, dealing with mail, any kind of mail app on Android, I get to the point where I'm like,
it's pretty bad.
I can't use it. I have to go back. The native iPhone mail is better than any kind of app that's on Android.
Mm-hmm.
And that's saying something,
That's what I use now. It's not bad in iOS 8.
No, it's not. I quite enjoy it, and I have people that tell me I'm a moron, and then people that tell me that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But I like Tweetbot 3. I think it's intuitive. I think it's easy to use. Although I have been experiencing some weird stuff lately, it's still one of my favorite apps. And Larry was using Android, lives and dies by Phoenix, and I love Phoenix on Android.
That's pretty good.
That's the best Android Twitter app out there, in my opinion. It definitely would like.
Hey, with your Tweetbot, are you getting that weird thing where you can hit the @ sign, put somebody's thing in there, and then it's just not there?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it goes down to the next line.
Yeah, like you can't see it or.
Yeah, yep, I have that.
It just needs an update. I mean, I went back to it since you left, and I turned off my notification. I just wish I hope in an update too they can turn off where it doesn't beep every time I do anything.
And it looks like an app
Samsung
that's built for old people on the 6 Plus.
Oh jeez.
The text is massive. The buttons are massive.
Hold on, go ahead and pull that back up. I got locked in. Holy Jesus!
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't need glasses for that one.
I guess not.
Well, that's what when we first got our phones that morning, we put Tweetbot on it, and we're like, wow. And then I went in and changed. I scaled down the lettering, the text, just so it was halfway decent. But yeah, but the keyboard's still huge when you open it up and all that kind
Takes up half the screen.
Yeah. Wait. Here it is. Look. This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't need a screen that big, or I don't need a keyboard taking up half the damn screen. It's just absolutely insane. Well, you know, like Larry said, you know, open it up and you're like, whoa! I had bold on my 5S. I did the bold text, which I thought looked pretty good until I had it on this. I had to turn it off. I'm like, turn the bold text off. That's horrible. Absolutely horrible. So, anywho, but yeah. So I mean, I could spend hours on which apps I think are the better or the worse ones that need to be updated for iOS 8. But it's got to be worse for you, Andy, because of that, you know, much larger screen size.
It's really bad.
You should do a video on that.
I don't do videos.
There you go. And if I hear one more person talk about skinny jeans,
of. I was typing now. Just say no to skinny jeans.
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the fact that I'm fat. I wouldn't wear skinny jeans even if I was skinny. I don't see the point in it. You gotta have room, man. Maybe you got no balls and no equipment, but I don't know. I need everything to be loose down there. I can't be going tight. I don't care. I don't give a crap.
I get annoyed with normal jeans. I don't even know how I would wear skinny jeans.
Yeah, I all my jeans have to be relaxed fit. In my work clothes when I was working, I'd have, you know, khakis and stuff. Everything's got to be loose fit. I don't care. I want my ass flat. I want the pants so baggy that my ass is flat.
What in the hell are we talking about?
Skinny
I
jeans.
don't know. Where did this go?
That's
we
it.
took a turn and went to Mike's fashion corner, and I don't think
have no
anybody's there
fashion.
waiting to
No,
hear.
no. Mike's lack of fashion corner. All right, fine. You know what? We've been on for an hour and almost an hour. Actually, we recorded a little bit for a couple minutes, but we're about an hour. So, I guess that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Andy, I thought you'd be a lot worse with the whole Ben thing. No, it was actually.
I don't know. I still think it's just absolutely stupid, and it should not be paid any attention to.
Right. I mean, I want to preface this by saying, you know, that Lou's not stupid for doing what he did.
No, I don't. No.
You know, that's by any means. It's not. You know, that's not. Obviously, I don't think that's what anybody means.
Might I suggest that when you preface something, you do it at the beginning?
Oh no, I think it was. Everybody was pretty cool with that. I'm just wrapping it up at this point. No, I think it was extremely. You know, it was extremely well thought out. You know, as far as what everybody said, I don't think anyone has an issue. I didn't see any in the room go, oh, you know, or Jonathan start texting me going, you gotta get, no, it's so odd, this is epic. So it's all good. So, but Andy, I want to thank you for coming on. That was a lot of fun. I always enjoy chatting with you when it comes to topics and whatnot.
Yeah, anytime you need me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll do more personal stuff the next time I have you on, and see how you get your start and everything.
Ooh, personal stuff.
You know, like
Personal and flat asses and khakis?
writing and, you know, hockey. And all.
Does it? I don't know.
So, guys, I know I said it at the beginning of the show, but you can find Andy at bytenow.com.
Net.
YTE.
.net.
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 We're working on the .com.
Sorry. And on Twitter at Black, 2 Ks at the end.
2 Ks.
Okay, KK. And thanks for coming in. Larry, my main man Larry. Find him at Geeky Nerd Dad everywhere. everywhere. And I'm here. You know where to find me. MTP Flyers on Twitter. So, Larry, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this?
I want to preface this by saying Mike's been drunk the whole time. So,
Dude, I barely even finished this beer. I'm not drunk.
look, you just smacked it into the microphone. Dude, I'm pretty sure that bottle will break if you put enough pressure on it.
Let's try.
No, like I said before, my thoughts, and it's the same thing. You just mentioned Jonathan a few minutes ago. I have the same thoughts about Jonathan. I think he's, I know there's some people on Twitter giving him a hard time, but I think the same thing. If you have that little bit of a germ of an idea and then you do something and something else runs with it, then, I mean, the natural progression of Lou doing his is how would it be if you put a beefier case on it?
Sure.
I mean, I think that was, to me, that was an obvious step.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm
it's
surprised Lou didn't do it in his video, but he may have only had one iPhone 6 Plus on him when he did it. But
he's got the coin to go out and buy some more.
well, he should have talked to somebody else who just has a plethora laying around.
Yeah, there's somebody that was close by that might have had an extra phone lying around that he didn't destroy yet.
Can't you just buy Apple Care Plus and pretty much just throw it against the wall and then go get a new one?
I
could.
think so.
You could, but I think they might know him when he walks in to see that he
Well,
deliberately.
now they will, but even I've not had Apple. I don't think I've had Apple Care on anything, and I dropped my iPad Mini out in the garage one day or something, and it smashed, and I just took it in, and then I just paid $200 to get a new one. So I think either way, I mean, they're so damn good, Apple with that's. I think somebody put that in the comments. That's sort of what sets them apart from everybody else. You literally, like you said, if they manufacture the hardware and software and they have brick and mortar stores, you literally can walk in and just say, hey, I'm having an issue, and get answers or a replacement device. You buy that Note 4, like we were saying, for $750. Are you going to, I mean, you can walk into the Best Buy store where it's really the 15-year-old kid that's a Best Buy employee that happens to wear the teal shirt that day that says Samsung, and you're not going to get that same customer service. So I think that's another reason I think why Apple products cost so much. I mean, they have so much customer service that goes behind it.
Well, I also think the idea that when you pay a little bit more for the phone, you don't get a buy one get one deal the week that it comes out, is because they have the research and development into it to allow that phone to be updated for 2-3 years down the road, and you're always going to get the latest and greatest OS on it. Is it always going to play nice and you're always going to get all the features? No, I don't think anybody's going to do that. But
it will, even if you're a contract-only person. Like we know Florida Carlos always says that when we talk to him, that he's a contract guy. So
right.
If you buy an Apple phone, you buy the iPhone 6 on contract this year, when the 7 comes out, you can upgrade and you're not going to have any issue. That you don't need to get the 6S.
All right, and you're going to be able to at least sell your phone or trade it in and get a minimum $200 to $300 for that phone.
Oh, that's a good point. Today I sold an old iPhone 5 that's pretty beat up on the edges.
Yeah.
For $280.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
And the resale doesn't fall.
The value's there, and I hope Apple keeps that. That's one of the things I hope Apple keeps. I don't see it happening as much anymore because of what they're doing to reduce their stock, because they're announcing 2 to 3 phones, 2 phones at a time now.
Mm-hmm.
So the natural progression, unfortunately, is that 5 isn't going to be worth as much as it normally would have been. Even the 5S isn't.
Right.
I may have been able to command $600 for my 5S, in the condition with Apple Care for another 2 years on it and a bunch of cases. Right now I could probably, if I'm lucky, get $400 to $450 with all that stuff.
That might hold for a little bit, though, because that 4-inch is still a sweet spot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they don't really have a brand new 4-inch phone. I mean, the 5S still performs really, really well for being a year old.
It does. It certainly does. And it will. It definitely will. I don't think it's anything more than that. My wife loves her 5. She didn't want the 5S. She's like, what do I get? I was like, a better camera, a little faster processor, and
Touch ID.
Touch ID. She's like, I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. She's like, oh, maybe about the camera, but she doesn't give a shit about the Touch ID because she doesn't like it having it on there, because our daughter just goes, Mommy, help, help. He doesn't know the code. So, that's usually about it for that. So, but that was a good, nice little ending topic. It's just, it was good. So, all right, guys. So I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight for the recording of the podcast. And thank you everyone for coming in and watching our show. Again, Andy, thank you so much for stopping by. Again, we'll have you on in the near future. And
Cool.
that is it. Thank you all so much for listening to the podcast, and those that have downloaded it. It's pretty decent. So you all have a good one, and we will see you maybe sooner than you think. So more on that later.
Peace.
Bye.
I tried. All right. Awesome. Awesome. That was really good. I'm in a much better mood than I thought I was. Maybe that's because of the alcohol.
Yeah, I wanted to be angry. I was angry this morning. Maybe it's because I haven't been on Twitter in like 3 hours, but
So you didn't see the two other videos that Lou put up?
no, actually, I only saw them. I went to his channel the first couple minutes we started recording to see what the new ones were. That was the first time I saw. I haven't watched them yet.
Yeah, he failed miserably trying to bend the Nokia phone. He's like, look at the size of this thing. Everybody makes fun of it. Damn, this is a phone. He's like, I'm not bending this. Actually, he got like a little crack out of it. You have to go in and watch it. But
maybe I will.
I think he's done after those. I don't think he's gonna do any more.
Yeah, I kind of hope so.
I think he's over it already. He's like, okay, yeah, next. He has a lot. He's a lot more talented than that, and I like seeing their collabs that he does with the other guys. And that thing Larry, I know you had mentioned the Jonathan video. I think the best thing it is, what more can they make Austin do that is awkward? Because he's just a ham. I mean, he's just sitting there doing crunches. Jonathan, somebody did a cutout and did a big shot of the Olympic pool, and they've got Austin like tucked up, and they've got him like just in there like he jumped off the diving board.
Cannonball.
Cannonball. I was like, oh, it's not gonna end. So those are one of the reasons why I like seeing those guys get together, because I think that's absolutely hilarious when they start doing stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so you'll have to check it out but it's pretty decent. So I don't know. What else? Anybody have any questions in the room? What the deal is?
Gundam G Sophie really wants some stuff.
Really wants some stuff. What does he want? I wasn't even looking at. Can I have a link? Oh, wait. Go check it out right now. What are you talking about? You can't post links in here. Good Lord. Holy cow. The iPhone has been able to bend under 1 pound of pressure from sitting. That's a fat edge. Don't put it in your back pocket. Plain and simple.
Yeah, when people do that, it drives me crazy. It just doesn't make sense. What do you think is going to happen?
It's gonna bend. I think you could put the HTC One M8 in your back pocket and you can make it crack. Just because I think your ass has a lot more power than your hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's every part of your weight pretty much centralized right there.
Absolutely. Well, Larry and I were talking earlier today about what kind of pressure you could put on it and on anything, and eventually it'll fail. But I don't know. I thought it was pretty good that Lou had such a hard time bending the phone. So it's definitely something I hope we don't see any more of. I want to see Lou go back to doing his other stuff that I enjoy watching. So.
Yeah, I really hope the whole thing just blows over very quickly.
It will. I think people will be more hell bent on the iOS 8 update issue on that. Beyond that, I think that's about it. So I don't know. So does anybody have any questions in the room? Larry, you got anything you want to chat about?
Not really.
No.
I know everybody keeps talking about the, I guess some prices and specs were leaked on the Nexus 6.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, damn! I wanted to bring that up. I forgot. Oh well.
5.9-inch screen.
Motorola making it, I think.
Yeah, instead of HTC.
Wow. 3 gig of RAM. So there you go, right there. That's the specs are out, are out the wazoo. I mean, an iPhone is still at 1 gig of RAM. And you see the performance of it, and I'm like, and that's running pure Android. Do you think does it really need 3 gigs of RAM?
I thought they said with that L update you could run it on something with 512 megabytes or something.
No, the L's got a long way to go. That's actually, I shouldn't say it's got a long way to go. That's going to be coming out probably when they introduce this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably, or the Note 4. No, that's not Android, or that's not Google. What am I talking about?
The Note 4. I was about to say.
That's not Google.
It's the complete opposite of what you wanted to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I guarantee you right now, the Galaxy S5 won't be getting the Android L on their phone. It's too old. That's the one of the main reasons why I have such a hard time with Android. It's got to be pure. It's got to be the Nexus. I think that's probably one of the phones that I would pick up. And I don't even know if Tomas is in the room or not. He probably fell asleep. But I think he's kind of got it right with the whole Nexus and the pure Android as far as the phone, for the money that you pay, what you get for it, and the quality that you're getting for it. So it's all good.
The Nexus 5 was leaps and bounds better than anything that came before it. So
Definitely, it certainly was. It's a decent phone. That Moto X is a pretty cool looking phone too.
yeah, that's why I'm kind of wondering, like, if they're teaming with Motorola for the new Nexus, how good is it going to be? Because the Moto X is already really good.
And
Yeah.
they have
It's
pure
pretty much
version
stock
of it.
Android.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't think it hurts or helps, to be honest with you. People are going to have their choice of what they're going to do. I think there's plenty of room for them to be able to do that and help with the pure Android experience. Not only that, I always say this because I hope it's something that these companies are doing, but I just don't see it happening as much. Like when Apple did their, when they had the iPhone come out, they were so, we didn't know this till later on down the road, they were so hell-bent on one carrier. They were so hell-bent on getting what they wanted and how they wanted to do it. They were the only phone that didn't have AT&T plastered all over it. And they still to this day don't have any carrier markings on their phone. And I really think that was one of their bones of contention, is probably why they weren't on anything else before AT&T, because other carriers were like, how the hell are they going to know that it's my Verizon, coverage on your phone if you won't let me put that on there? And I think, beyond that, when these companies start working with each other and, Motorola gets the opportunity to, help Google build their phone and do that, I would always hope that one of the things they'd say in there is, we're going to go help you with this, but we would like Android L extremely early so that when you release it, we can put it on Moto X the day that it comes out. I was always hoping that that's what these companies were doing, to be able to say, the Galaxy S5, we want the Galaxy S5 updated the day that it comes out for the latest Android software that comes out for 2 years. Why? Because most people are buying it on a 2-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see that happening. Anybody that is getting a pure Google experience phone, smartphone device that we see that goes on the Play Store, I don't see those companies getting any kind of any kind of special treatment when it comes to getting and what it is the most important thing is the latest and greatest on your phone. Instead, it just seems like they got the latest software. You know what? Let's go ahead and just release a different phone. And do it that way. And you sit there and talk about the Galaxy S5, as Samsung's flagship, and the Note 4, and they always talk about it being the greatest thing. When I know for a fact that Galaxy S5 will not see Android L, which is just so sad. It should, and eventually it will, but it's not going to see it anytime this year or before summer of next year. By the time they get it, we're all going to be talking about the Galaxy S6,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll just fall off and it'll get it eventually. Now, obviously we see the updates happening a little bit more and more, but I just don't think it's happening fast enough, and it's causing that fragmentation where I just don't think people are even bothering updating because they don't think they can get it. So what's the point? Throwaway device is what I look at. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when the phone comes out, it's for $199, $299 on contract, and then a week later you can get one for $99 and get one for free. And in actuality, what's happening there, and people may not realize this, is that you're just killing that value of that phone for Samsung to go, let's put more money into research and see if we can get this thing to work for the next few years. They don't have the money to do that. They're not going to put any more money into that because we're not putting any more money into buying that phone because they're offering it for buy one, get one free. And I think that kills it. At the end of the day, people go, why Apple's so expensive? Well, Apple's expensive because they still service the product 3 years later, 4 years later. You can pick up an iPhone 4 and still use it technically.
Yeah, I was using one for the last month until I got my 6 Plus.
Right.
My dog ate my 5S.
You may not be completely happy with the phone, but it's still functional. Tell me that you'd be able to be able to use a Galaxy S. What was before the Galaxy S3? Was it a 2? Did they do that? Galaxy S, Galaxy S2, 3 and 4? I don't even remember.
Yeah, there was a 2.
Okay, I don't even think you could use a Galaxy S2 right now.
Probably not.
A 3 you might be able to, but there's no way. I don't know if there's any Android phones out there that anybody has that are 4 years old that you'd be able to use.
Or you would
Not
want them.
reliably, anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, a topic for another day. Find out people what phones they use. What phones their parents use. I think that's even more of a staple, depending on what they update to. So, some parents are better than others, but
It was kind of funny. I went to the Flyers game the other night, and I was just like, whenever I'm at a sporting event, I survey the people around me to see what they're using.
yeah.
It's just a habit. And I saw more iPhone 6s
Really?
than I did Android phones. And it
iPhone
was
6.
really weird because that was Monday night, I think.
Wow.
And that's 3 days after the phone came out.
Yeah, usually you don't see phones in the wild like that for a while.
Yeah.
They sold 10 million of them, Andy.
They did say sell 10 million of them. Apparently, at least 10 of them were in Philadelphia.
Exactly. In your section, in the rafters, right?
Yeah.
Those tickets still going up in price every year?
Ours actually stayed the same this year. They didn't go up.
Wow. I'm shocked and mortified. I can go to a Bears game for $10 and sit in a club box. You get what you pay for.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go to the Phantoms games in Allentown now.
Yeah. I'll
Like
do
25
that.
minutes from my dad's house.
That's cool. I think it would still take me an hour to get there, but I think that's more doable than driving down to Philly at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I'm going to be seeing a Flyers game for a long time live. But I sure do want that third jersey that they introduced this year.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy one on opening day.
Is that
See
the?
what happens.
Is that their? Is that the same? Did they change anything, or is it the same jersey that was the Winter Classic jersey?
It's the same thing. I believe the cream color white numbers are just a little bit lighter than they were for the Winter Classic.
Did they still have the black shoulders on
Yeah.
it? Okay. I was just curious because I was like, wait a minute, that's the Winter Classic jersey, I thought, and that's what I was trying to put two and two together. But I still want one.
Yeah, they're really sharp.
Yeah, they look cool. Those look really cool.
Last year, my jersey collection just kind of plummeted when they got rid of Briere. And then I had two other jerseys that were just Mizaros and Timonen is going to retire eventually.
Eventually.
So my only current jerseys are Giroux and Voracek, so I need at least one more.
I have a Carter and a Giroux left. That's it. I think that's. Do I have anyone else? No, I think that's it. A Carter and a Giroux. I think that's all I've got left. Surprisingly. And who knows how long Giroux will stay? He'll probably get traded because he's too good.
No.
I saw some of the newer guys in the replay from the Toronto game. There's like a whole slew of guys I never heard of.
Yeah, the team that went up to Toronto was that was more like the bottom pairing guys who were still trying to battle it out for like Phantoms and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's
all the skilled players stayed here.
Oh, okay. All right. I was like, wow, because they got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
And they certainly played better the other night, but I just thought it was funny. And I saw Stenorti get in a fight and just beat the living piss out of some guy. And they were like up against the boards, and the referees were coming in, and you could tell it was winding down. You just see one more hand from Stenorti come out and just go whack in the side of the head. I'm like, nice. It's like this guy's going to be a flyer eventually.
Yeah. He can throw them. Unfortunately, that's really all you can do.
Exactly. So, real quick, anybody in the room that even cares, I mentioned earlier, I was like, I think Andy and I knew each other before YouTube, the whole YouTube thing, even before that, because I used to hang out a lot in the hockey chat rooms and the blogs and all that sort of thing.
What's a chat room?
Not a chat room, in the vlogs and all that, in the forums. And I think I might have been in. Weren't you like running one?
Yeah, is that where I came across?
What's that?
Is that where we came across each other?
It may have. I was really heavily in one of the bigger guys. On I think his name was. Remember Jeff Lamanna? For what was that blog? I can't remember. It's been so long, but he's the guy that was sick and actually ended up he passed away, and like dedicated the whole site to him, and they kept it running, and we all put a bunch of money into it to make sure that it kept up, his wife could keep it up and running and everything. And he was a really good guy, and I think when that started happening, people kind of moved out a little bit to different sites and everything like that, and I think that's when I came along, and I think we crossed paths at some point during that, because it was so funny, because I recognized, and I was like, I know this guy from somewhere, and I think it might have been from something like that. So
yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't remember. I really don't.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Marquez broke his hand.
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you think he was really bending something?
No, he was playing Ultimate Frisbee.
Is that what? Because he said took Bengate to the next level and broke my hand today. Thanks for all the well wishes.
No, he said he was practicing.
That would be awesome.
He's not talking about a game. He's talking about practice.
Practice.
Talking about practice? I'm not talking about a game. Oh, it still rings through and through in the city of Philadelphia. So anyway, I'm freaking beat. I'm gonna sit there and talk for hours and hours, but I actually want to freaking I want to go to bed.
Yeah, that's a thing.
I got my front door off, and I've got my storm door locked. But that's how nice the area is around here. I don't even need to have a big wooden door. I can just leave the storm door locked.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Wake up tomorrow with nothing in your living room.
Oh, well.
The house is like a reinforced fortress.
That's what insurance is for. Well, you have to, Andy.
Yeah, it never used to be this way. My neighborhood used to be nice, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Are you still in Philly?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm only about a 5-minute walk from the stadium complex. But, I
Okay,
mean,
yeah. Okay, yeah. I
the
remember.
bad neighborhood is kind of slowly moving this way.
Are you rent? Do you rent, right?
No, it's a family member house.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. It might be time to leave.
Yeah, once I graduate, I'm gone. So
That's cool. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for everybody in the room for coming out. I'm beat. I don't think there's anything else anybody's really talking about
nope.
tonight anyway. So, I'm sure the next thing we're going to be hearing very shortly is when Apple's next event is going to be. Um, beginning of October or middle of
They
October.
release new iPads because I want one.
Yeah, it'll be the updated iPads. They'll probably finally, hopefully, give us a new display. A 5K.
I sold my third gen last year because I wasn't really using it much, and then about a month later, I was like, "Shit, why did I do that?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't need it because you're going to get another one, even though you have the iPad Air, the iPhone Air.
The
I mean,
iPhone Air. No, I really there's that soft spot. I don't know. It's right in the middle
yeah,
because I watch Netflix or YouTube or something in bed, and you can't do that on a phone, and you can't really do it on a laptop.
right. I don't know.
So
I don't use my iPad Air that much. I know, Larry, you were talking about. Are you still trying to track down a 6 Plus? Did you order one?
No,
No.
I've sort of given up.
You've given up.
I think once they come in,
You're just gonna go.
I'll just go get one. I'm not in any rush. I hear they bend.
Well, I hear Keaton might have some. I'm trying to get him on the show. Maybe we can hit him up for. Maybe you can buy one from him.
Yeah, there you go. Just give me a smash one. I'll just take it in and tell them that I dropped it.
You dropped it exactly. My daughter broke this. What am I supposed to do? Oh my God. So, anywho, all right. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to bed. And again, Andy, thank you very, very much. Larry, I will hit you up later.
All right, man.
We'll figure out what's doing. So.
Some late night sexting, you two.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly what it
right.
is. All right, people in the room, you all have a good one, and we are out of here. Take it easy.
All right. See you later, guys.